With the river behind us.
Okay.
I'll stand up here so I look taller.
Just give me your first name.
Oh, I'm Freddie.
Okay. How long have you been in the Rising Moon session?
Since '94 or so.
Wow. How long has the band been around?
I moved up here in '94, and it had started like 5 years earlier. I think around '89 or so.
Wow.
Yeah, up in Guinans. And I would get off the train at Garrison to go to the session. But I was living in Cold Spring at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was just great to join in. But mostly I listened at the beginning because it was very crowded and lots of musicians already there and playing.
Okay, if you don't mind saying, how old are you?
I'm 60.
Okay, so you would be the youth among this group.
Maybe. I just turned 60. I have just a quick point about Scott Mattei. Scott Mattei, who passed last year unexpectedly.
Founder of the group?
Yeah, he was big at the Irish session at Guinans. Yeah.
Okay.
And anyway, he was a young kid then. I didn't even know. He was only like 17 or 18 at the Guinan sessions in the beginning, in the 90s. But he had a mastery of every instrument.
Now he would be like, what, 40, 50?
He died, at like 42, yeah.
So he was the youngin' of the group.
He really was, yeah. Yeah, that's
You're
what
like
brought
the
it up.
second youngest.
I suppose so. You look around, but we have people join us all the time, and they come and go, and
It's like what, 11 to 15 people?
Generally, it's about a core group, but the mailing list is like 70 people, and we'll get 15 or so generally, and then 5 or so will join from the
You
crowd.
don't have to answer all the following questions. How do you feel about the current and last president? If you don't want to answer, you can just go.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I certainly have feelings. I don't know if they. I do want to not fall into an autocracy. That's what I want, to keep away from losing our democracy. To me, that's the most important thing.
Okay.
Even though we sometimes have to take the middle of the road and it doesn't satisfy everybody, that's what compromise is. And unfortunately, that's how we have to keep going. Otherwise, it's destruction.
Right. How do you feel about the Wu-Tang Clan?
I played some of their songs, and I think they're very cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I do love that stuff.
Okay.
I was told not to play it because, later on it was like appropriation. But yeah, they're great stuff.
All right. Have you seen, did you ever get to see the Pogues? Or Dropkick Murphys or Flogging Molly or anything?
Oh, sure. Black 47, Flogging Molly's.
I've seen Flogging Molly and them Dropkicks. I've never seen Black 47.
I was down in the city
the Pogues.
in the 90s.
Shane MacGowan died, so.
Right. I watched a great documentary about him. But I remember in the 70s, I went to high school in the city, and the Pogues were just breaking in the late 77 or 78, just when punk was breaking, and the Underground and Lou Reed and CBGBs, and then the Pogues. They were like a punk Irish,
The Stooges and all that.
Yeah, of course. But I couldn't get into the clubs. My friends told me about it. They were older and looked taller and older and stuff. I had the baby face, so I didn't get into them.
Did you ever see anything like? Did you ever see an artist that died at 27, or was that before your time?
Oh, of course I know about them. I'm a big fan of the 60s artists, Morrison, Joplin, and Amy Winehouse, and Jimi Hendrix, of course. And yeah, it's crazy, weird how that happened.
Did you ever get to see Nirvana?
Sorry?
Did you ever get to see Nirvana? Because
I never got to see them.
He also at 27 also.
That's right.
A member of that.
I had a band.
That forsaken people that sold their soul.
He had great talent, incredible charisma, and I just felt sad that he threw it away. I felt, but I don't really understand. I can't say I know what was going on and what he had to go through.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way we can know what people go through and how hard it is. This is my friend Ken. We're doing a little interview. You can tell us about the sandwich.
Great, juicy.
So what do you think about the folks at 27? That's kind of weird how 27 is a thing. But I fell off a cliff when I was 25, 66 feet. I almost was gone.
Wow.
1,000,000 to 1 I survived this freak accident. Head over heels, landed on boulders, 66 feet, all smashed up. Got bolted back together, literally Black & Decker screws, and lucky to, every day is extra credit. So, yeah, I think about, my kids, and if they ever, if something would take them away, how horrible it would have been.
You ever get into stuff like hardcore punk?
I love the Sex Pistols since college and stuff. So
I mean, what they influenced, like bands like Murphy's Law. And,
Well, I heard them.
And the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, things of that
Sure,
nature.
sure. Yeah, I actually did see them when I was playing in the city. Like, you'd play for 40 minutes, another band come on, and some of those bands would come on. They'd be all kinds. I mean, there was no kind of like Irish night then, right?
What do you think of that band breaking up?
Which one?
Mighty Mighty Bosstones. They did break up a few years ago.
Oh, I'm not thinking about it that much, actually.
Okay.
What are they doing now?
Dickie joined a new supergroup called The Defiant.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing. I mean, people, they can only stay together for so
wear a
long.
mask, and you know how that goes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, you think about like supergroups like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, where they came from other bands and they just created something different. They moved on with their career. And you think about the solo artists, people, they're in a band for a while, but like the Beatles, like there's so much talent to constrain that.
Yeah.
I mean, poor George couldn't get songs on the albums, right? And so it was just frustrating for him.
Well, there's guys from like the Offspring and other groups.
Right. Those guys were great.
In the new group.
Yeah.
And they have an album, so it's pretty great.
Right. But so I like all kinds of things, but I've just over time come back to kind of more traditional stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
Just
what about
recently.
Metallica?
I like
them?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I love the music. It's a
What
lot of
about
energy.
what they influence? They influence things like death metal. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. Sometimes I have an opinion, but it's really I don't really understand it. That's probably the problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I love Led Zeppelin, but they weren't just a hard rock band. They were they covered everything, like a lot of beautiful
Sure.
country ballads and stuff.
Okay. What do you
Instrumental.
think of the economy?
Oh, I think the economy is the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and that really sucks because people are getting marginalized and they need help. And it's so there's something rotten, really, which is not being fixed. But I do think there is hope to hopefully bring resources to the middle class.
All right.
Yeah, it's unfortunately skewed a bit.
Were you a Howard Stern or Opie and Anthony guy?
I did like Howard Stern a little bit, but I also thought like the shock stuff was a little I don't know.
What about
crass.
O&A?
I don't really know that.
Opie and Anthony, like Jim Norton and all those guys like Louis C.K. and Patrice O'Neill.
Oh, you mean comics and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like there's stuff that's really funny. I mean, there's no doubt.
Do you know who is Ian Ellis?
Who is who?
Ian Ellis.
Ian Ellis. No.
He's a comic from Chicago. He's been on podcasts like Legion of Skanks and With Apologies. Who do you think is the funniest person ever?
Robin Williams.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite war, if you have one?
A war. Well, I think the Revolutionary War was probably a big gamble for a lot of people, especially people who had a lot of land apparently at the time, and they still were throwing in to run their own country, which I think was quite brave.
Have you ever read any books by Stephen Blush? He's written American Hardcore, American Hair Metal Can't Get Enough, and Rock Met Disco.
I have not.
Oh, maybe you should check it
I
out.
should.
His new book is called When Rock Met Reggae.
Really?
It came out this month.
What's his name again? Stephen
Blush.
Blush. Cool.
Blush.
Yeah. So I think that it's weird. Like I'd like to play reggae music, and I'm told it's appropriation now. But I think so. I like to play with a staccato kind of beat because I like to bring beat to sessions a lot of times without kind of a strong rhythmic kind of thing, like Keith Richards or something. Like he went down to Kingston. He was hanging out with those guys and was totally like helping.
What's your favorite instrument that the band you play in plays? Like you've got like so many, the flute, you got the banjo. What's your favorite instrument besides the one you play?
Besides the guitar,
you
yeah.
play guitar.
Well, my favorite instrument is the cello.
Okay.
So Peter Partridge plays the cello. He also plays a mountain dulcimer, so it's like really close between those two because it has a cool thing. But cello for me is much more versatile.
Okay. What do you like about living in the Hudson Valley? Okay, I think we're looking at it.
That's it. I mean, that's
what's way
forever.
over there, which is Bear Mountain's
Bear
like
Mountain.
way over there.
Dunderberg here, Bear Mountain,
Wait.
Anthony's Nose.
Yeah.
I love the Hudson Highlands. I love
Okay,
them.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm kind of running out of battery.
Oh,
Thanks
cheers,
for doing
Ken.
it.
Thanks for chatting, and send me a
All right.
link.